A tabloid article about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry that announces tension before the wedding is fake news. Gossip Cop has once again confirmed there is currently no wedding in the works. But Life and Style is claiming in its new issue that the couple has had their first big fight about their I do details. A so-called insider is quoted as saying, "Meghan and Harry have been arguing, and it's all been about their wedding. The pressure of planning a royal wedding is taking a toll, and they're having their first real arguments. Meghan is pushing for a big, glamorous affair with a celebrity guest list. Harry wants a small wedding and would hate if it turns into what he thinks of as a tacky Kardashian-style affair," contends the gossip magazine's supposed snitch. The outlet goes on to assert Markle wants Priyanka Chopra and Serena Williams flown in for her big day, but Harry worries that will turn the nuptials into even more of a circus than they're already bound to be. Another purported source supposedly tells the publication, he needs Meghan to realize this is a royal wedding and guests will have to be approved. Harry takes his duties seriously and doesn't want a wedding that will upset his family. And to help his cause, maintains the tabloid, Prince Harry has enlisted sister-in-law Kate to calm the situation and steer the actress towards a compromise. But Markle has her heart set on a huge event at Westminster Abbey like Prince William and Kate had, alleges the aforementioned insider. As a result, the situation is said to be causing tension in their relationship. These claims, however, are just the latest chapter in an ongoing wedding saga published by Life and Style. As far back as last November, the tabloid was falsely claiming Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were engaged. And this past March, another article from the magazine wrongly alleged Markle and Harry were having a Christmas wedding in the Caribbean later this year. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share my videos.